Alright, so finally got some time again to make a YouTube video. So the deck that I will introduce today would be this RG deck, which has been popular since Skelly Dragons have been released and Fisherman buff. I would say it's pretty consistent in the last 2 or 3 meta, so I managed to push to 6,600 yesterday on stream, which was about top 7-800. So I want to share with you guys 3 replays here, which is pretty common, and I hope you guys can learn a thing or two. So I'll see you guys in the first game. Okay, so the first replay would be a replay against Sparky. So against Sparky, the main thing is you gotta defend the Sparky well. So I watch a lot of pro players how to defend Sparky. It's not that easy. Sometimes your defense is not clean, you lose your entire tower in just that one push and then you get 3 crown. So I see what they do is they actually go with defensive Field Spirits or Skellies to tank that first Sparky shot to make sure you keep your Hunter, your Fisherman and everything else alive. Okay, so over here I defended as mini packer, so I decided to go with a counter push here. I decided not to log because I know I'm gonna need all the elixir I can to defend his Sparky Giant or Goblin Giant push, because he hasn't played his tank yet. So we try to go with the early dragons always to try to get the lock on the Sparky. Unfortunately he blocked with the Giant. So I know I needed to let it go, so there you see I put the Heal Spirit to tank, and then there's not enough elixir here with the Skelly, so I had to go with the lock, and then he zapped it as well, so we take one big Sparky hit and a lot of giant shots as well. So not the best start because of the aggressive RG, but again, as long as your tower is still alive, you can defend pretty well with Fisherman. So over here, I know if he goes Sparky in the back, the best way we can do is try to take the tower. Whether it's the same lane or opposite lane, it's always good to go aggressively against the Sparky, in my opinion. Because even if you defend, most probably you won't be able to defend his entire push. So I go aggressively here, forces out his mini packer, we get some shots on the Sparky, we get some damage on the tower. He goes with the Giant in front. The Sparky is most probably in fireball range, so I can go with the Fisherman in the back to hook it. Skelly surround. Unfortunately Giant gets one swing, but then he plays minions and then we get the nice fireball value there. So after this defense, we're pretty much in the lead. So against the Sparky, you can either choose to go with the Heal Spirit or to tank the first shot and then you Hunter to kill it. Or like what I did over there. Okay, so over here I know he doesn't have his mini packer, so he either plays his Skarmy or plays some other kind of spam troop. So I went with the Skelly Drags to make sure that I can take tower here. So now we're in the Elixir lead, so we're gonna go aggressive because it looks like 834. It doesn't look like I can take his tower. So we go aggressively, he decides to go and trade with me. And that's perfectly fine. I know I needed to take 2 towers in this case. He goes with the arrow zap on that. As long as I don't get 3 crown, we're gonna be in a pretty good position. So we just defend lightly earlier with that. And then now we go with the Hunter to clean up the rest. And in 20 seconds, I just have to make sure that I don't lose my towers. So over here, he goes with the mini packer instead of the Skarmy. So we managed to get the hook before that. So everything is good now. And now we just have to maintain our composure and just defend. So usually in Sparky games, I would like to go for the 2 tower because I know like any mistake there on the defense, I would most probably lose my towers anyway. Alright, so in the next replay, I'll go through against an Expo one. Alright, so I'll see you guys in the next replay. Okay, against Expo, most probably against a good player, it's only gonna be chip damage. Your RG would most probably never lock on. Maybe in triple elixir you might get a bit lucky when you keep spamming RGs, but against a good player, it's the chip damage that is gonna count. So I watch OP Sam play a lot. He goes with a lot of cycle in the back and double elixir. In single elixir, he just basically cycles his troops, try not to give him too much fireball damage. And on your side, as the RG player, you're looking for lock damage, fireball damage early on. Basically never playing your RG unless he makes a huge mistake or you get some miraculous good elixir lead, but basically you're just gonna cycle through, right? So over here his Tesla is not in cycle anymore because he played it early, so I decided to go with that RG aggressively just to test it out. So we go with the fireball also, and this is when we get the heal. The RG gets 1 shot here. So this puts me in a nice damage lead. I know he doesn't have enough for his Expo yet. Okay, it's gonna be a pretty defensive game, so let's go in 2 times speed for this. Because I know I can cycle back to my RG. So we're not so afraid of being outcycled in single elixir. So yeah, he doesn't even dare to go with his Expo, so now with that damage lead I had at the start, I'm pretty comfortable just trying to defend this entire game. And if he fireballs, I will fireball back to make sure we get tower damage. So the key, I would say, against an Expo 2.9, don't give him fireball value. Don't give him consistent fireball value on your drags on the weaker side. If it's the healthier side, no problem. Just cycle it in the back, no problem at all. But you guys see, those little archer hit here and there, it's gonna add up. So definitely I'm gonna go with my log always to get the log damage. So I don't really have to log the other side. If he goes Heal Spirit, Scallies, I will just send Scallies as well and our spirits just to tank that. So over here we're trying to get a breakthrough. Unfortunately we don't get a breakthrough. So you guys can see, basically cycling Fishermans. Fishermans do help a lot in the end. And then RG at the breach as well in triple elixir. Sometimes you get the hit, if he defends well you don't. So basically you see just the log damage. The log damage is just gonna cycle. We have 2 Fishermans on board here. That's why I can go with the RG. Dragons in the middle to tank a little bit. Fireball on that, trying to get some damage. We have Fishermans to tank for the Expo at that point, and then just defensive Royal Giant on his Expo. And then now we're in a pretty good lead. So Fisherman got some damage there. So basically we're just defending for the rest of the game. Once you get a nice damage lead, you can defend. And it's the same with the Expo player. They're gonna defend the entire game. So you gotta play it the same style as them. If you go 2 offensive RGs at the start, then you might lose. If you keep going offensive RGs, or if they keep going offensive Expos, you might lose. Because look at that, the Archer's Ice Spirit log for them does a lot of damage. So I would say spell damage is very, very key in this kind of matchup. Obviously not the prettiest sight, but if you want to win such games against a good Expo player, this is what you're gonna have to do. Alright, so I'll see you guys in the last replay. Okay, last replay here is against Golem. Again, a good Golem player can actually defend pretty well. So you gotta be careful, especially depends on when they use their Tornado or their Lightning to take out your Fisherman. So at the same time, give a bit of pressure, I think, when you can. If he goes Golem in the back, I feel you have to go with a bit of pressure if your RG is in cycle. You must give a bit of pressure because I don't think you can take a whole Golem kind of a Lightning NATO kind of a push. So again, basically at the start, we're basically trying to figure out what the opponent is playing. So again, cycling. Yeah, I have no problem cycling Fisherman in the back. Even if he goes with GS at the bridge, that's just 1 out of 99 cards. He might get a good death damage bomb, but that's 6 for 3, and if you can try to punish him, that will be good. Okay, so we go with the High Dragons to try to take out there. He goes with this, so we have to defend now because we're down at elixir, so there is no way I can go with the pressure. So he goes with that. I try to cycle back. We go with the nice Fisherman because he already used his NATO. We get the nice King Tower activation. We go with a clean defense over here. And then we add in the extra log to take everything out. Scallies here. So pretty good defense. We took a bit of damage from the Golem or the Night Witch bats, but that's okay. So we got our King Tower activation because he decided to NATO the Hunter there. We're down a bit in elixir, but again, not the worst problem because we have King Tower activated. So against Golem, you gotta give a little bit of pressure. They would still most probably have enough for the Tornado in the end, in double elixir, to do that. But because I got King Tower activated earlier, we're in a pretty good shape. So over here, he over defends, does RG, and then I'll just use that to clean up. I don't want to take the bomber shot, so I'm just gonna log that, and that's also a good defense. We're in the damage lead, but unfortunately you guys can see he's up a lot of elixir. So I know he's gonna Golem in the back. I have to pressure, like I said, I have to pressure. So we're gonna go with the pressure here even though we're down. And then he knows that he can't defend, so he's gonna let that go. So the question is, how are we gonna defend this Golem push? I go with the high Skelly Drags to take out the bomber first. Okay, so that's when it was good. We go with the Hunter in the middle to kill the Lumberjack. He overspends here. He doesn't get his NATO down in time. He goes with the NATO in the front on the Hunter, which was his mistake. So we got the clean defense on the Golem. And then again, we just have to defend his ground troops. And that's it. So also trying to bait out his elixir. More you're not gonna bait out his troops. More often you're just trying to bait out his elixir so that he either tries to defend the RG and not have enough for the rest of your Hunter and your Fisherman. That's the overall idea I have against Golems. But a good Golem player would save enough elixir, so it's also like a bit of 50-50. The rotation has to be good to be able to do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I know I haven't been uploading consistently because I've been trying to focus a bit more on my Twitch channel. And I hope you guys like this series, right? So I will try to upload a bit more, but this season I may be a RG1 trick, unfortunately. So we're trying to push with RG, and so far it's been good. So far it's been good. We have been able to push in the top 1000 pretty consistently. I hope I still get your support even though I'm an RG1 trick. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, guys.